Hi, Frank from Ovation Guitars here. In today's show, we're going to talk about our VXT. It takes great players to make great playing guitars, and it just can't be done unless you really know how it's got to play, how it's got to feel. That's one of the magics about this guitar, is that when you pull it off the shelf in the store and you pick it up and play it, you just notice something that's really comfortable. That's not by accident. People in New Hartford, Connecticut, right here in the USA, pick up and play and give a lot of attention to every single one of these guitars. Frank Untermyer is going to show us today at the factory just how that's done.
After the guitars are finished, they just sit and dry. We let the finish cure for about a week, and then we take them over to the buffing wheel and spend about 2.5 hours per guitar hand buffing it out. Here again, we think that the nuances you get from a finish when someone's hand buffing and hand polishing the guitar just brings so much more luster to the instrument than if you put it in a machine and automatically buff it. Once the guitar is buffed out, we have to clean up the fingerboard. We'll actually tape the guitar off so there's no chance of marring any of the finish before we even touch it. You know, a lot of time and effort goes into making sure that we've got a real clean fingerboard face. We go over every one of the fingerboards. We blending the rosewood board into the celluloid binding itself. All of this is done by hand. There's just no other way to do it. We go over each guitar to clean up the fingerboard to get the best playing surface possible. First, we'll work on the fret ends, putting a 45-degree angle. We'll actually steel wool them over so they're smooth as silk. We'll also go over the board itself, making sure there's no residue on the fingerboard and making the transition from the binding, the finish that's on the side of the binding, to the fingerboard playing surface as smooth as possible. This is where the guitarist actually puts their hand, so it's a pretty important thing. Once the finish is on the guitar, we take a lot of care to make sure that we're not going to damage it in any way. We have all the surfaces padded, and we're keeping the work areas real clean, just so there won't be any debris or anything getting on the guitar. After putting so much time and effort into building the guitar, we want to just use the top shelf components. We're using Seymour Duncan 59 covered pickups for it. We've got the Fishman power bridge, and of course we've got our own proprietary electronic circuit board that provides the magic of blending between an acoustic and an electric sound. We shield our electronics cavities completely, as well as using an aluminum backplate, so there's no RF interference with the electronics. All of our guitars are hand assembled using only top shelf components. And Phil is mounting a Fishman power bridge. We laid it out so that you can use just a simple potentiometer to blend between the acoustic and the electric sound. In fact, a lot of people think that one of the coolest things about the VXT is blending in some acoustic while you're playing electric, because it's a unique sound. There's a lot of hybrid guitars out there where you can have an acoustic sound or an electric guitar sound, but you don't have both. And what we've created here is an actually unique sound, something that no one else can duplicate. Phil's been working on the VXT project from the start. He's done literally every step of the way, but a lot of guitar players are working on them. Mike, Phil, a bunch of the guys you've seen throughout the shop. They all play guitar and they all know what we're trying to achieve with this instrument. They all want it to work just like we do. We hand wire all of our guitars prior to setup. Three different people actually play test the guitars before the VXTs are shipped. First, Phil's going to set it up, slot the nut, check the action, and go over the entire instrument. Then it'll go to Darren Wallace, who's our engineering manager. He's going to play the guitar extensively, also run it through both acoustic and electric amps, make sure that all the electronics are working properly. And after he's done, Andy McDonald will then replay the guitar a third time prior to shipping it out. So we've got 3 guys who play every one of the VXTs prior to shipping.